everyone! This Wednesday was Ash Wednesday, which is the beginning of Lent. We were reminded that without God's Spirit, we are like ashes with no life inside of us. Lent is a time of turning back to God, recognizing that we are ashes, but that with God's Spirit we can come to life. Lent is 6 weeks and is a purple season. Purple stands for drawing close to God through opening our hearts in prayer. This week is the first week of Lent. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Luke. When Jesus returned from the Jordan River, the power of the Holy Spirit was with him, and the Spirit led him into the desert. For 40 days, Jesus was tested by the devil, and during that time he went without eating. When it was over, he was hungry. The devil said to Jesus, "If you are God's son, tell this stone to turn into bread." Jesus answered, "The scriptures say, no one can live only on food." Then the devil led Jesus up to a high place and quickly showed him all the nations on earth. The devil said, "I will give you all this power and glory to you. It has been given to me, and I can give it to anyone I want to. Just worship you, and you can have it all." Jesus answered, "The scriptures say, worship the Lord your God and serve only him." Finally, the devil took Jesus to Jerusalem and had him stand on top of the temple. The devil said, "If you are God's son, jump off. The scriptures say, God will tell his angels to take care of you. They will catch you in their arms, and you will not hurt your feet on the stones." Jesus answered, "The scriptures also say, do not try to test the Lord your God." After the devil had finished testing Jesus in every way possible, he left him for a while. The Gospel of the Lord. This week's Gospel takes place just after Jesus' baptism by John the Baptist. When Jesus was baptized, the Holy Spirit came down on him like a dove, and a voice in heaven declared, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." This week's Gospel starts just after the baptism, where the same Holy Spirit sends Jesus out into the desert by himself for 40 days. Maybe Jesus went into the desert to get away from everything and think about God. Lent is a good time for us to get away from everything and focus on God. Maybe Jesus went into the desert to remember how God's people spent 40 years in the desert reaching their promised land. Lent is also a good time to go on a journey to get closer and closer to God. Maybe Jesus ended up in the desert accidentally through some bad luck. Sometimes that is a way we can come closer to God by realizing our complete dependence on God when life is difficult. Either way, the devil came to Jesus to try to lead him away from God and from what he had learned in the desert. First, the devil asked Jesus to turn stones into bread because he was hungry. The devil wanted Jesus to trade something really important, like his connection to God, for something less important, like food for that day. Of course, we need food and all of our needs met, but we also need to trust God and not spend all of our time focused on just meeting our needs. If we do that, we miss out. And that is exactly what Jesus said. No one can live only on food. They need God's Spirit too. With food, we are still dust. Only with God's Spirit do we truly come to life. Next, the devil showed Jesus how he could be powerful by ruling over the earth. The devil wanted Jesus to trade following God with something really important. It would be easy to be fooled by this one. It seems like being important would be a good thing. But Jesus wasn't fooled. He said we should only worship God and only serve him. Why can't we be powerful too? Because God tells us he comes to the weak and the powerless. God can come to anyone, but the weak and powerless may receive God better because they realize they need God instead of thinking they are in control. Jesus didn't want to be important and take a chance of not receiving God. Finally, the devil gave Jesus the option of just escaping everything by jumping off the temple. Sometimes we just want to escape. Maybe maybe we escape by wasting our time on the wrong things or with bad choices. But Jesus wasn't fooled. He did not want to test God by making bad choices and seeing what would happen. Sometimes it's hard to make good choices, but it's a way of respecting God and not asking Him to fix things afterwards for us, but instead be with Him the whole time. After all this, the devil finally left Jesus. So too, when we stay close to God, the devil leaves us alone. Lent is like a desert. Certainly the devil will come to us to have us choose the wrong thing. But we should remember Jesus and choose our relationship with God just like He did.